God says, there are just 10 seconds left. He's been reaching for your heart again and again, whispering in the quiet, calling you through the pain, showing you his love in the small, unnoticed moments. But you've been rushing, skipping over it, scrolling past his voice, hurrying through the noise of life without seeing what's truly important. This message is not a coincidence. You didn't stumble here by mistake. God is speaking. He is reaching, gently but urgently, and he doesn't want you to miss this moment. Don't close this. Don't ignore him again. Something unexpected is coming. It may feel like the earth shifts beneath your feet, but it will not be to break you. It will be to awaken your soul, to realign your heart, to rescue you from the hurt you hide so well. Type 2323 if you agree. The Lord is not distant. He is not cold. He is not angry with you in the way the world has made you believe. His heart breaks every time you walk away from his love, not because he is vengeful, but because he misses you. Like a father watching his child walk into the dark, he watches and waits. He remembers the days you felt him, the nights you cried and whispered his name when no one else knew. He hasn't forgotten. He was there. And even when you turned away, he didn't turn back. His mercy stayed. His arms remained open. You don't have to earn this grace. You don't have to clean up your whole life to come to him. You don't need to carry the burden by yourself anymore. He knows how heavy it has become. He sees the way you smile for others while aching inside, the way you pretend to be strong because no one else seems to understand. But he does. He always has. He understands the pain behind your silence and the weight behind your laughter. And he doesn't want you to carry it alone anymore. There is something sacred about the stillness of this moment, something holy resting over your heart as you read. Don't rush away. Don't brush this off. It isn't fear that God wants you to feel, it's hope. Even when the world has tired you, even when you feel like you've failed too much or gone too far, God says, you are still loved. You are still his. Nothing you've done can cancel what he's already written about you. And what he's written is redemption. Type Amen if you believe. Sometimes, it takes the breaking of everything familiar to open your eyes to the truth. God never promised us that this journey would be easy, but he did promise he would walk every step beside us. Even when we cannot see him, even when we cannot feel anything but sorrow, he is still there. It's not always in the thunder or the fire that he speaks. Sometimes, it's in the quiet reminder that you're not alone. That you are held, even now. Maybe you've prayed for healing and it hasn't come the way you hoped. Maybe the waiting has crushed you, and the silence has made you wonder if he hears you at all. But God is never late. His timing is not your timing, and his ways are not your ways. What feels like delay is not denial. What feels like silence is not abandonment. God is weaving a story so much greater than what your eyes can see right now. You only see the page, but he knows the whole book. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. God's eyes are on you right now, and his love is not dependent on how good you are, how strong your faith is, or how perfect your prayers sound. His love is steady, unchanging, anchored deep in grace. It's the kind of love that wraps around you even when you're falling apart. It's the kind of love that doesn't let go. There will come a day, soon, when you'll look back at this moment and thank God you didn't give up. You'll realize that the struggle had purpose, that the pain birthed something beautiful, that even in your darkest nights, God was holding you through it all. It may not feel that way right now, but you will see. God wastes nothing. Not one tear, not one sleepless night, not one cry for help. The storm you're facing now is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of something deeper, something more eternal. When you walk through the fire and come out on the other side, you'll carry a light that will help guide others home. Your healing won't just be for you, it will be a testimony of who God is and how far His love can reach. This moment is not small. It's a turning point. A place where heaven leans in close and your heart finally begins to hear again. Don't let the world drown it out. Don't scroll past the voice of your Father. He is calling you home. Not with shame. Not with guilt. But with the purest love you've ever known. And even though the world around you keeps going, you've quietly wondered if anyone truly notices the weight you carry. But God sees it all. He sees the quiet ache, the questions you never say out loud, and the silent tears no one else catches. He sees how hard you try. And He wants you to know, you don't have to carry it all alone anymore. Type 1111 if you trust in God. You were never meant to be the one who fixes everything, who understands it all, who walks without stumbling. God never asked you to be perfect, He only asked you to be present with Him, to let Him in, to trust Him with the parts of your heart you've hidden away. You don't have to earn His love by being strong. In fact, it's often in our weakest moments that His strength shows up the most powerfully. When your voice shakes and your faith feels small, when your eyes are tired from crying and your hands feel too empty to pray, that's when His presence draws the closest. That's when heaven leans in with compassion, not criticism. What if wealth was never about luck, but a hidden brain signal buried in CIA files? This frequency is opening doors, attracting opportunities, and changing lives quickly. Thousands are already using it to attract wealth like never before. Click the link in the description and comments now and activate the money-attracting brain wave today. There are things you've been holding onto that were never meant to stay. Old pain, words spoken over you, memories that still sting, and fear that something bad is always just around the corner. But God is asking you to release them. Not because He doesn't understand how deep they've hurt you, but because He knows they've stolen too much of your peace already. He wants to replace the heaviness with lightness, the sorrow with joy, the fear with faith. But first, you have to unclench your fists and let Him have it all. You see, Jesus didn't come for those who have it all together. He came for the broken, the tired, the lost. He came for the ones who feel like they've failed too many times, who've been rejected by others, who walk through life with hidden wounds. And He didn't come to just observe your pain, He came to carry it, to redeem it, to heal what nothing else could reach. That's the love He brings. Not a love that demands perfection, but a love that sees you in the worst of your mess and stays anyway. God is not watching you from a distance with disappointment. He is near. Right now, closer than the thoughts in your head or the rhythm of your heartbeat. He doesn't want to just be a name you call in crisis. He wants to be your comfort in every quiet moment, your strength when you feel too weak to keep going, your guide when you feel lost in the dark. He is not trying to punish you. He is trying to rescue you. Type 555 if you believe God is speaking to you. There is something shifting in your life, even if you can't see it yet. What you've been walking through wasn't meant to break you, but to bring you into something new. The breaking makes room for blessing. The waiting makes room for growth. The tears make room for healing. And God is not done. Even now, He is working behind the scenes, moving mountains that looked impossible, preparing a place for you that will make every trial worth it. Don't let the silence make you think He's not moving. Faith grows in the quiet. You've been carrying disappointment that has made you doubt whether things will ever truly change. Maybe you've been let down by people. Maybe doors have closed. Maybe your prayers seem unanswered. But God is not finished with your story. He's still writing it with hands that know how to turn pain into purpose. And one day, what once broke your heart will become the testimony that helps others find hope again. What felt like the end will be remembered as the place where God began to do something new. The healing may not come overnight. The answers may not look like what you expected. But the presence of God is what you need most, and that presence is already with you. Even when the world around you feels loud, confusing, and unstable, God is your steady ground. He doesn't shift. He doesn't change His mind. He doesn't stop loving you when you fail. His love is the most stable thing you'll ever know. So rest, beloved. Rest in the truth that you are not forgotten. You are not too broken. You are not too far gone. You are still chosen. You are still seen. You are still deeply loved. The road ahead may still have curves and hills and unknowns, but you don't walk it alone. Every step is watched by the one who formed you, who knows your name, who counts every hair on your head and keeps every tear you've cried. God is drawing you in now. Not to burden you, but to set you free. Not to remind you of your failures, but to show you that His mercy is bigger than every mistake. All He wants is your heart. Your real, messy, honest heart. And when you give that to Him, everything begins to change, not always around you, but inside you. Peace begins to return. Joy begins to rise. Hope begins to bloom in places that once felt barren. God has been calling your name quietly, not through pressure, but through love. He has waited for you, not because you are slow, but because He knows healing takes time, and hearts take courage to open again. This is not about guilt. It's about grace reaching for you again. Type 1212 if you walk by faith. Maybe life has hardened your heart a little. Maybe you've had to be strong for too long, and in doing so, you stopped letting yourself feel anything deeply. The days have blurred together, and the nights feel longer than they should. You've learned how to hide your fear with busyness, how to silence your anxiety with distraction, and how to mask your sadness with smiles. But God knows. He knows the version of you that no one else sees. And it's that very version He loves most, the raw, quiet, uncertain one. He sees through the surface and loves you there. Sometimes we misunderstand what it means for God to work in our lives. We expect loud miracles, sudden shifts, skies splitting open. But most of the time, He comes gently. He speaks in the hush of your tired thoughts, in the stillness when no one is watching, in the quiet way your heart begins to soften again. That's His way. Gentle. Steady. Transforming you from the inside out. You may not notice it day by day, but suddenly, peace replaces panic. Hope replaces heaviness. And somehow, you know you're not walking alone. A 7-second at-home ritual, scientifically proven by neuroscience labs and hidden for decades in CIA files, is now public, and people are seeing money flow into their lives. Scientists say it activates a brain pathway linked to abundance. Click the link in the comments below before this knowledge disappears again. God knows how many times you felt like giving up. He knows the days you pushed forward just because you had no other choice. He knows the pain you've carried in silence and the dreams you've buried out of fear they would never come true. But He also knows how resilient your spirit is, how deeply your heart longs for healing, and how ready your soul is to rest in something greater than what the world offers. He knows you were made for more than just survival. You were made for love, purpose, and joy. Type 222 if you are ready to trust Jesus. You are not here to just exist. You are here to shine light in dark places, to love with a heart shaped by grace, to walk with courage even when the road is unclear. And God is equipping you for that, even now. Every delay you've faced, every tear you've cried, every challenge you've endured, it all carries purpose. He never wastes a thing. The pain isn't meaningless. The waiting isn't empty. It's building something in you that will bless others in ways you can't even imagine yet. What you thought was a closed door might have been a divine redirection. What you thought was a failure might actually be the foundation for something unshakable. God's ways are not like ours. Where we see loss, He sees preparation. Where we see endings, He sees new beginnings. That's why you can trust Him even when you don't understand Him. That's why you can rest even in the unknown. You don't need to pretend to be okay with Him. You can come as you are, questions and all, doubts and all. He's not afraid of your honesty. He welcomes it. Your tears don't scare Him. Your anger doesn't push Him away. He is not fragile, and His love does not change when your emotions do. That's the beauty of grace. It holds you even when your faith wavers, even when you feel unworthy, even when you don't feel like praying. Grace stays. There are things in your life that feel broken beyond repair. Maybe it's a relationship that never healed, a hope that never came to pass, a loss you still carry deep inside. Maybe it's guilt you can't shake or choices you regret. Whatever it is, God doesn't turn away from it. He moves closer. He doesn't step around the pain, He steps into it. He walks with you through it, not to shame you, but to show you that even broken pieces can become beautiful in His hands. Your story isn't over. No matter how far you've drifted, how cold your heart has become, how long it's been since you felt anything at all, He can bring it all back to life. He can restore what's been stolen. He can heal what's been torn. And He can breathe hope back into the places where it once died. He is the God of new beginnings, and He never runs out of mercy. So take this moment seriously. Let yourself feel what's stirring in your spirit. Don't push it away. Let the walls fall down. Let the tears come if they must. You don't have to be strong here. You just have to be open. God is not trying to break you down, He's trying to lift you up. He's trying to remind you that you matter more than you know, that your life carries divine weight, that your journey is not forgotten. Healing doesn't always come with fireworks. Sometimes, it comes in the gentle way you wake up with a little more peace than the day before. Sometimes, it's in the way your heart slowly softens, the way you begin to forgive, the way you begin to hope again. Let it happen. Let God do what only He can do. Let Him into the deepest parts of your soul. Not the parts you've perfected for others, but the real you, the one that aches for something more. Type 1919 to receive miracles. Sometimes life leaves you feeling like you're stuck in between. Not where you were, not yet where you want to be. That in-between space is where doubt creeps in. You wonder if anything will ever change, if you've been forgotten, if God really hears you like they say He does. And in that space, you start to believe lies the enemy whispers, telling you that your prayers are too small, your faith too weak, your past too messy. But the truth is this: God specializes in meeting people right in that in-between place. He does His most beautiful work in those quiet spaces, where all you have is a tiny bit of faith and a whole lot of need. You may not see the way forward right now, and that's okay. God isn't asking you to have all the answers. He's only asking you to take His hand and trust that He does. Sometimes, it's not about moving fast, it's about standing still in faith, knowing that He will lead you when it's time. You're not late. You're not missing out. You're being prepared. God is placing things in motion you can't yet see, shifting circumstances, aligning hearts, opening doors that no man can shut. But it starts with surrender. And surrender is not weakness. It's the strongest thing you'll ever do, to lay it all down and say, God, I trust you more than I trust myself. That's when miracles begin to move. That's when healing starts to flow. That's when the impossible starts to become your reality. Not because of what you can do, but because of who He is. There is so much noise around us every day. Voices pulling you in every direction, telling you what to chase, who to be, how to fix your life. But none of those voices know the depth of your soul. None of them understand the ache you carry, the wounds you've covered, the dreams you barely whisper anymore. Only God knows those places. And only He can fill them with the peace you've been searching for. Type yes to affirm. A classified 7-second morning ritual, once buried in CIA files, is quietly transforming financial lives. In under 30 seconds, it helps shift the mind from scarcity to wealth, with many reporting surprise income and peace. Click the link in the comments below before the page is removed. Sometimes, the most sacred thing you can do is be still. Sit with God in the quiet. Not to perform, not to impress, not to speak at all, but simply to be with Him. To rest in the truth that you don't have to earn His presence. You already have it. And in that stillness, something beautiful happens. The fear begins to lose its grip. The chaos in your heart begins to slow. And you begin to hear the soft whisper of truth again, that you are loved, you are known, and you are not alone. God isn't waiting for you to become someone better before He starts blessing you. He loves you as you are. Right now. With the doubts, the mess, the questions, the broken pieces. That doesn't scare Him. He isn't shocked by your struggles. He doesn't walk away when you stumble. In fact, it's in those exact places that He draws nearer, holding you when you're too tired to stand, lifting you when you've fallen again, speaking life when all you've heard is shame. If you're tired, rest. If you're hurting, let Him hold you. If you've run away, come back. There's no distance too far. No past too dark. No mistake too big. God's love is not limited by human standards. It doesn't expire. It doesn't weaken over time. It remains. Even when everything else falls apart. Maybe you're afraid to hope again because it hurt too much the last time. Maybe you stopped praying for certain things because the silence crushed you. But don't give up yet. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean God isn't doing something new. Just because you feel stuck doesn't mean He isn't preparing a breakthrough. You may feel like you're at the edge, but God is often closest when you're about to give up. Hold on. Not because things are perfect. Not because you feel strong. But because even in your weakest moment, God is still working. He doesn't need your strength, He wants your heart. Your surrendered, open, honest heart. And when you give Him that, miracles begin to take shape, not always in the way you imagined, but always in the way that's best for you. There is no shame in needing grace. No shame in starting over. No shame in asking God to help you again, even if it's the 1000th time. That's what grace is. It meets you every single time you reach for it. It doesn't keep score. It keeps you. And it will never run out. So breathe. Let yourself exhale the weight you've been carrying. Let God step in where you've grown weary. Let Him be your strength, your healer, your peace. You were never meant to do this alone, and you don't have to anymore. And somewhere along the way, you started to believe that maybe God had forgotten about you too. But He hasn't. He's been watching, listening, waiting, not in silence, but in stillness. Not with anger, but with patience. You are not invisible to Him. You are not forgotten. Type 666 if you trust Jesus. There is something sacred about this very moment, a divine pause where God is gently touching the places in your soul that have been bruised, the pieces you've hidden from others and even from yourself. He's not rushing you. He's not demanding anything from you. He's simply reminding you that His love never left. Even in the silence. Even in the heartbreak. Even in the moments you felt furthest from Him, He was closer than your breath. You see, God doesn't love you because of what you do. He loves you because of who He is. His love is not something you can lose. It's not something you have to chase. It's not fragile or conditional. It's constant. Deep. Unshakable. And right now, it's reaching for you again, not because you've earned it, but because He delights in you, exactly as you are. You don't have to fight for His attention. You already have it. You may not understand everything you've been through. The betrayal, the loss, the confusion, the waiting, the doors that closed without explanation, the answers that never came. But God is not finished. Just because something didn't turn out the way you hoped doesn't mean He has stopped writing your story. Sometimes, His greatest gifts come wrapped in ways we don't recognize. Sometimes, the closed doors were His protection. Sometimes, the silence was His preparation. Sometimes, the delay was His mercy. And even now, as you sit here reading these words, God is moving in ways your eyes cannot yet see. He is working behind the scenes, aligning people, shifting paths, softening hearts, and orchestrating miracles in perfect timing. You haven't been waiting for nothing. You've been waiting for something holy. Something real. Something that will not fall apart when storms come. Type 10 if you believe God is working in your life right now. God knows the exact moment your heart broke, the exact second you started questioning your worth, the exact time you began to believe that your prayers didn't matter. And in every single one of those moments, He was there. Not just watching, but holding you in ways you couldn't see. Guiding you through the shadows. Whispering hope when all you heard was doubt. You've never walked a single step alone, no matter how it felt. He wants to remind you today that healing is still possible. That joy can still find its way back to you. That the light inside you is not gone. It's just been buried under the weight of what you've carried. But He's lifting that weight now, little by little. And in its place, He's planting peace, one moment at a time. Do you know, inside your brain is a small region linked to wealth and success, once buried in restricted research and hidden in CIA files. This newly revealed frequency is helping people replace stress with financial ease, and God has guided you here. Click the link in the description and comments to activate this hidden brain wave now. Maybe you've been afraid to hope again. Afraid to open your heart, to believe that something good could still come. You've tried before and been disappointed. You've waited and felt let down. But God is not like the others who've walked away. He is not like the promises that were broken. He is faithful. Always. And His goodness doesn't depend on how much you deserve it, it flows from who He is. There will be moments ahead when you'll be tempted to give up again. To go back to the numbness. To shut down. But in those moments, let this truth rise up: you are still held. You are still chosen. You are still being carried through, even when you don't feel it. Faith isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the quiet decision to believe when nothing makes sense. Sometimes it's just saying, God, I don't understand, but I'm still here. The night may feel long, but the morning always comes. The struggle may feel endless, but it won't last forever. God is not done. He is a God of restoration. What the enemy meant for harm, God can turn for your good. What was meant to break you, He can use to rebuild you stronger than ever. He's not just going to heal you, He's going to use you to help heal others. You don't have to wait until you're perfect to let him in. You don't have to have all the right words or the strongest faith. You just need a willing heart. That's all he's ever wanted. A heart that says, God, I'm tired, but I still believe. I'm hurting, but I trust you. I don't know what's next, but I know you're good. And that's enough. He sees your heart. He knows your name. He hasn't overlooked your pain. In fact, it's your pain that has drawn his heart even closer. He walks with the weary. He comforts the broken. He lifts up the crushed in spirit. And he is doing that for you now. Let him in. Not just into the pretty parts, but the broken ones too. The parts you don't show anyone. The parts that still ache when no one's watching. He's not afraid of your honesty. He's not disappointed by your weakness. He's moved by your need. And he's responding, even now, with love that doesn't give up. You may not see the full picture yet, but God is painting something eternal with the very moments that brought you to your knees. The pain that tried to break you is being transformed into something beautiful. And though you can't see the end from where you stand, he can. He has always seen it. Type 333 if you know God has a plan for you. There are days when it feels like you're running in circles, giving your best and still coming up short, doing everything right and still facing roadblocks. You try to stay strong, keep the faith, believe things will shift, but it feels like life keeps testing you. And in those moments, it's easy to think God has forgotten you, or maybe he's too busy helping others who seem more faithful, more deserving, more whole. But that's not who he is. God doesn't choose favorites. He doesn't overlook you. He doesn't hold your pain as less important. If it matters to your heart, it matters to his. You've walked through more than most people know, and yet here you are, still standing, still seeking, still hoping. That kind of strength is not ordinary, it is sacred. That kind of endurance doesn't come from the world. It comes from the one who has been holding you up the entire time. Every breath you take, every morning you wake up even when it's hard, every moment you choose love over anger, peace over fear, hope over despair, that's a victory. That's God's strength alive in you. It's okay to feel tired. It's okay to cry. It's okay to admit that you're not okay. God doesn't need you to perform. He just wants you to be honest with him. He can handle your doubt. He can sit with your sadness. He can hear your silence. And even when all you have left is a whisper of faith, that's enough. Because he's not measuring you by how loud your praise is, he's measuring you by how open your heart is. And your heart, even in its most broken state, is still beating in rhythm with his love. Type 777 if your heart is open to God's healing. You may not have all the answers, but you don't need to. You only need to rest in the one who does. He knows the way forward. He sees the road you're about to walk, and he's already prepared a place for you. Nothing ahead of you will surprise him. Nothing behind you can disqualify you. And nothing around you can separate you from his love. You are covered. You are chosen. You are cherished. Sometimes we wait for the storm to end before we start believing again. We tell ourselves we'll trust God when things look better, when the healing comes, when the breakthrough happens. But God wants to meet you in the middle of the storm. He wants to show you that peace is not the absence of trouble, it's the presence of Jesus in the midst of it. You don't have to wait for the miracle to feel close to Him. You don't have to wait for the victory to feel loved. He is with you now, in the waiting, in the struggle, in the unknown. There's a kind of transformation that happens in the hard places of life. A refining. A deepening. A stripping away of what doesn't matter and a growing awareness of what does. God uses the fire not to burn you, but to refine you. He uses the waiting not to punish you, but to strengthen you. He uses the heartbreak not to destroy you, but to teach you how deeply you are loved. There is purpose in it all, even if you don't see it yet. Financial freedom is not about effort, but activating a hidden brain signal once buried in CIA files. Neuroscience shows this sound wave helps attract money and opportunity faster, and thousands are already seeing unexpected income. Click the link in the description and comments now to activate the ancient money wave today. You are not weak because you've struggled. You are not faithless because you've questioned. You are not broken beyond repair because you've cried yourself to sleep. You are human. And God, in His infinite compassion, understands that more than anyone else. He stepped into our world not to condemn us, but to carry our burdens, to walk in our shoes, to feel what we feel. He didn't just come to fix us, He came to be with us. That's the kind of love that never leaves. Don't believe the lie that your best days are behind you. Don't let fear convince you that you'll never heal. Don't let shame tell you that you've missed your chance. God is bigger than all of it. His love is wide enough to cover every mistake, deep enough to reach every wound, and strong enough to carry you through anything. There is still beauty waiting for you. There is still joy to be found. There is still light ahead. So breathe. Slow down. Let yourself be still. Let His peace begin to rise in the places where chaos once ruled. Let His love reach into the cracks you've been hiding. Let His presence remind you that you are never, ever alone. You've been walking through the valley, but you're not going to stay there. God is leading you out. He's leading you forward. And what's ahead will not look like what you've left behind. That's your Father drawing close, letting you know He hasn't forgotten what He spoke over your life. The words He whispered into your heart when you were young, the dreams He placed inside you when you had no fear, they still live. They have not expired. They are still being held in His hands, waiting for the appointed time. Type 888 if you believe your time is coming. There are days when you look around and wonder if you missed it, if the chance to become who you were meant to be slipped through your fingers while you were busy surviving. But God doesn't forget His promises. What He started, He will finish. What He planted, He will bring to bloom. You're not too late. You're not too broken. You're not too far behind. God does not operate by the timelines of this world. His pace is perfect. His timing is sacred. Sometimes it feels like the waiting stretches longer than your strength, like the silence is louder than your faith. You keep showing up, praying, hoping, trusting, but the breakthrough hasn't come yet. And deep down, it hurts. You wonder if maybe something's wrong with you, or maybe you missed some hidden step in the journey. But child of God, hear this, your delay is not your denial. What you see as waiting, He sees as preparation. He's not withholding blessings to punish you, He's preparing your heart to carry them well. In this season, God is shaping something inside you that can't be rushed. He's teaching you to trust not just His hand, but His heart. He's building strength that cannot be shaken, peace that isn't based on circumstances, and faith that endures. These are not wasted days. These are the foundations of your next miracle. These are the deep roots that will hold you steady when the wind starts to blow and the blessings begin to overflow. Type 444 if you are ready for God to move in your life. You might not recognize the fruit of this season until later. But one day, you'll look back and see that it was in this quiet stretch of time where you learned to lean on Him most. It was here where you found the kind of faith that isn't loud, but unshakable. And in that moment, you'll realize the waiting wasn't meant to break you, it was meant to bring you closer. God is not interested in rushing you through life. He's more concerned with you becoming who He made you to be. He's after your healing, not just your success. He's after your wholeness, not just your achievements. And if it takes a little longer, it's only because He loves you too deeply to let you walk into something you're not ready for. He's healing wounds you didn't even know were open. He's softening the parts of your heart that turned cold after too much disappointment. He's calling you back to trust, not because you have all the answers, but because you know He's faithful even when you don't. Maybe the last season broke something in you. Maybe you lost a little of your wonder, your joy, your faith. That's okay. God knows how to restore what life has drained from you. He's not standing over you with judgment, He's kneeling beside you with grace. He doesn't need you to have it all together. He just wants your heart, open and willing. Let Him in again. Let Him speak into those places that you've covered up with busyness. Let Him hold the pieces you don't show anyone else. He's not afraid of the mess. He's not tired of your struggles. He still chooses you, every day, no matter how many times you fall. His love is constant, His patience unending, His arms always open. And as He draws near, you'll begin to feel it, a peace that doesn't come from understanding, a hope that rises despite the pain, a joy that has nothing to do with your circumstances. That's the fruit of being in His presence. That's what happens when you let your walls down and let Him love you the way only He can. So keep going, even when it's slow. Keep believing, even when you can't see. Keep trusting, even when it doesn't make sense. You're not walking blindly. You're walking by faith. And faith doesn't mean you always feel strong, it means you choose to keep going even when you don't. You are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. You are not invisible. You are deeply known, deeply loved, and eternally held. God has not taken His eyes off you. He has not stopped working on your behalf. And He never will. A 7-second brain-wave ritual, once reserved for elite people and hidden in CIA files, is now public, and people call it the 30-second miracle. Scientists say it awakens a dormant brain center tied to wealth and blessings. Click the link in the comments below before it's deleted again from the internet. You may not feel it in your body, may not see it with your eyes, but your spirit knows. You've been pressing through shadows, praying when it felt like no one heard, waking up each day with a hope so fragile it barely survived the night. Yet somehow, here you are. Still standing. Still breathing. Still hoping. That is no small thing. Type 999 if you believe something greater is coming. There's a holy kind of strength in you, shaped through trials and tempered by grace. You've walked through seasons that could have crushed you, but instead, they carved deeper wells within you, spaces that only God's peace could fill. And now, even if you feel worn out, even if your soul is tired, you are carrying something eternal. The light hasn't gone out. It's just resting beneath the weight of everything you've held. God is lifting that weight now. Slowly. Gently. Faithfully. You may have walked through loss that no one understood. You may have smiled through storms just to keep going. And while the world sees your outer strength, God sees the strength it took to simply keep choosing love. Choosing kindness. Choosing faith when fear whispered louder. Those quiet victories, the ones you didn't celebrate because no one else saw, God saw. And He counts them as precious. There are prayers you stopped praying because the silence felt too loud. There are dreams you stopped chasing because disappointment felt heavier than hope. But God says, it's not over. He is breathing life back into what felt dead. He is reigniting what you thought had faded forever. The delay didn't mean denial. It meant He was preparing something greater than you knew to ask for. You've cried in secret. You've carried things you never spoke of. But even the pain you never shared was always known to Him. God never needed you to shout for Him to hear you. He heard the sighs, the pauses, the trembling whispers. And not once did He turn away. He's been holding every piece, waiting for the moment you'd begin to believe again. Type 111 if you believe God still hears your prayers. This isn't about having perfect faith or perfect strength. It's about trusting Him even when you feel like you have neither. It's about coming to Him with whatever you've got left, be it a broken heart, a weary spirit, or a soul that doesn't know what to pray anymore. He doesn't need you to say the right words. He just wants your presence. Your heart. Your honesty. You've spent a long time feeling like you needed to be the strong one. But even the strong need a place to fall apart. Even the brave need a place to be held. God is that place. You don't have to impress Him. You don't have to pretend. Just come. Lay it all down. Let go of the pressure, the expectations, the fear of not being enough. With Him, you already are. Sometimes what feels like breaking is actually the beginning of becoming. You're not falling apart, you're being reshaped. The fire you're walking through isn't meant to destroy you. It's meant to refine you. And what will emerge will be more beautiful, more compassionate, more deeply rooted than you ever imagined. God doesn't waste pain. He transforms it. Let Him into the spaces you've been afraid to open. The questions you haven't asked. The bitterness you've buried. The hurt you've silenced. He can handle it all. There's nothing too messy, too complicated, or too broken for him. In fact, those are the places where his love does its most powerful work. This is not just a message, it's a moment. A divine invitation to start again. To return. To breathe. To be held. You don't need to understand everything to walk forward. You just need to know you're not walking alone. The one who formed the stars is walking with you. And he's not going anywhere. The healing you need isn't far. The peace you long for isn't out of reach. God is nearer than your next breath. Closer than your next thought. You don't need to chase him, just let him in. In the stillness. In the quiet. In the middle of your real, imperfect life. That's where he meets you. And when you look back, when the clouds begin to clear and the weight begins to lift, you'll see it. The fingerprints of grace on every page. The kindness that met you in your lowest valleys. The love that carried you when your own strength failed. You'll see that even in the waiting, even in the hurting, even in the moments that didn't make sense, God was faithful. I've watched you carry weight that was never yours to hold, pressing forward with a quiet strength that no one recognized but me. And I want you to know, you have never, not for one moment, been alone. I have been with you through it all. Type 1717 if you believe God is carrying you right now. You've walked through seasons that seemed like they would never end, when each day felt like a mountain and every breath a prayer. And yet, you kept walking. You may not have realized it, but that was courage. That was faith in its truest form. It was never about how strong you felt, but about how you chose to keep going even when you were weak. That is the kind of faith that moves heaven. That is the kind of heart I cherish. There have been moments you've questioned why things had to happen the way they did. You've looked back on broken pieces and wondered if there was something you could have done to make it all turn out differently. But I want you to let go of the blame, let go of the guilt, let go of the burden of rewriting the past in your mind. What's behind you is not bigger than what's ahead. The past may have shaped you, but it does not define you. I do. There's beauty growing in you that you can't yet see. Seeds I planted long ago are beginning to take root beneath the surface, and though the growth feels slow, it is happening. Just because it's not loud doesn't mean it's not powerful. Just because others can't see it doesn't mean it's not real. I am doing something in the quiet. In the hidden places. In your soul. Type 2222 if you know God is working in your silence. A 7-second brainwave ritual uncovered from sealed records and hidden in CIA files is transforming financial lives. It activates a forgotten abundance channel in the brain, leading to new financial opportunities and cleared debts. Click the link in the comments below before it disappears. You've asked for peace, and I'm giving it to you, not as the world gives, but as only I can. A peace that anchors you when the wind rises. A peace that whispers in the storm, "You are safe with me." A peace that holds your hand when the world feels like it's crumbling. I never promised a life without trouble, but I did promise to never leave you in it. And I never will. I see the walls you've built around your heart. I know why they're there. I know they were built from heartbreak, from betrayal, from the moments when people who should have stayed walked away. But I am not like them. I don't come and go. I don't change my mind. I don't love you less on your worst day. My love is a shelter, not a storm. Let me in again. You don't need to protect yourself from me. Somewhere along the way, the world may have taught you that you had to be perfect to be loved. That you had to earn kindness. That you had to achieve something to be seen. But I never asked you for perfection. I only asked for your heart. Broken, bruised, tired, your heart is more than enough. Come as you are, not as you think you should be. I love the real you. You are not too much. You are not too little. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are exactly where I knew you would be, and you are not late to your blessing. My timing may not be yours, but it is always good. And when it comes, it will be more than you asked for, more than you hoped for, more than you dreamed. Sometimes what feels like loss is actually making space for something greater. Sometimes what breaks your heart is preparing it to love more deeply, to see more clearly, to carry more compassion. I don't waste the hard seasons. I use them to mold you, to strengthen you, to soften you. You will come out of this with a faith that's been tested and proven. You will rise stronger, softer, wiser. You're not being punished, you're being prepared. For healing. For purpose. For joy. For love. For more of me. The refining hurts, but it leads to beauty. The waiting feels long, but it leads to fullness. Don't despise this season. Don't rush past it. There is treasure here, even in the tears. I am with you in every moment, and nothing you're facing is being faced alone. You've carried silent battles in your heart, fought through fears no one saw, and whispered prayers into the dark, not knowing if they would ever be answered. But every word you spoke in faith, I heard. Every tear you cried alone, I counted. And not one of them has been wasted. Type 1414 if you know God is not finished with you. When you feel like you've lost your way, like you've run too far or failed too often, remember this: I never let go of your hand. Not when you stumbled, not when you ran, not even when you forgot how to speak my name. I was there, in the shadows, in the silence, in the moments when you felt most alone. My love never wavered. It never will. You don't have to find your way back to me. I've been walking beside you the entire time. There are parts of your heart that still carry wounds. You've learned how to keep going, how to function through the pain, but healing is more than just moving forward. It's letting me in. It's trusting that I can reach the parts you've buried, the pieces you thought were too broken to restore. I am not afraid of your scars. I am not discouraged by your doubts. I know how to bring life from what was lifeless, hope from what was hopeless, beauty from what was shattered. You may be tired, and that's okay. You may not know what's next, and that's okay too. You were never meant to carry the full map. You were meant to walk with me, one step at a time. And I will guide you, even when the road is unclear. I will light the way, even when the night feels long. My presence doesn't depend on your feelings, it remains constant, even in silence. Even in stillness. Even in pain. Type 1313 if you're still holding on to faith. The pressure to be strong, to always have the right words, the right attitude, the perfect trust, it's not from me. I'm not asking you to have it all together. I'm asking you to come, exactly as you are. Weary. Weeping. Questioning. Even angry. Bring it all. Lay it at my feet. I won't turn you away. I won't scold you for your weakness. I will hold you with gentleness, with compassion, with peace. There is a healing that I long to give you, not just for your body, but for your soul. A healing that reaches into the deepest corners of your heart, into the places that still feel unsafe, unloved, unseen. I know what you've walked through. I know who hurt you. I know what it cost you to keep moving when your world was falling apart. And I promise you this, there will be restoration. There will be joy again. There will be beauty that rises from the ashes.